The topic I'm looking to cover today is about a young man named Cornelius Fredericks. His story is actually a little bit older, but hasn't really been getting any media attention until recently. In late April, he was living at a facility I believe he was in Michigan. And he was at a facility that was for behavioral health, frequently used for foster children. And while he was there, he had thrown a sandwich. And because he threw the sandwich, a bunch of staff piled on top of him. And they were on top of him for different sources say different things, 10 minutes, 12 minutes, something like this. According to witnesses, he stated, "I can't breathe," which unfortunately echoes so much of what happened to George Floyd. He ended up being hospitalized and died 2 days later. I mean, all these stories are awful, but this in particular, this is a child. He's 16. He's under the age of 18. The community is trusting that this facility was going to help him with whatever potential behavioral situation he had. And their response to his behavior of throwing a sandwich was to have multiple people pile on top of him. I watched the video. There was also a nurse there who arrived, and she gets there and she's standing there and she's watching this happening. And it kind of highlighted another podcast that I listened to recently where they talk about racism within healthcare. And I feel like that kind of echoes each other, seeing this story and seeing the video of this nurse standing there looking at what's happening. It doesn't look like she's, trying to get the attention of the people that are sitting on this kid. She doesn't even look like she's calling for help, like the police or 911 or anything like that. She's just standing there looking at him. There is a petition, again, at change.org, if you would like to go and sign that petition. It is looking to promote justice for what happened to him. I do believe 3 staff members have been charged, according to CNN, but in looking at the video, there was a lot of people piled on top of this individual, of Cornelius, and I feel like there's a lot more people who are guilty of what happened here. There needs to be more done. The for-profit group that runs the home or behavioral health institution that Cornelius was at, they need to come out with something more than their little statement. There needs to be some serious reform. Thank you for listening. Thank you for, checking out these resources. I will put links in the description below if you'd like to read more about it. I also encourage you to do your own research because as demonstrated, like you go to different places and there's slightly different details. So if you want a well-rounded understanding of the story, do your own research, look at multiple resources. But that's everything. Thank you very much, and we'll get into the video. All right. I am going to be doing my makeup today. I had a request to do makeup that would last through wearing a mask. Now, I thought about this and I'm kind of thinking, why do you need to have makeup that lasts through a mask? If you're going in public, you should be wearing a mask. So if it's covered up, why do you need makeup? And I still don't know that I fully know the answer to that. I know that I went to a local garden recently, a public garden, and people there, you're in an open space, you can socially distance, and people will go to certain areas where there's no other people, take off their mask, take a nice photo. So I figure maybe in that instance, you might like to be able to wear a mask, get to someplace safely, take off the mask for a family photo or a selfie or whatever it is, and then put the mask back on. As long as you're being safe about it, however you choose to use this makeup informational situation video that I'm making is fine. Just make sure you're socially distancing, hand sanitize, wear your mask properly. There's a bunch of videos out there on how to do it properly. I don't know that me making one is necessary, but if that's something you want, let me know in the comments. I'll do a video on how to wear a mask if that's what you want. But that's not what we're doing today. Today we're doing makeup, and this is partially exercising techniques I've already used in the past just for longevity, and also an experiment because I've never put on makeup and then put a mask on top of it hoping the makeup will stay intact so I can take the mask off. The closest thing I can think of is when I did my Gerudo Link cosplay. That has kind of a mask. It sits on your face here, like on the bridge of your nose and on your cheekbones, but then the rest of the fabric kind of just drapes. So the only area of contact was like here, and I don't even remember putting that much makeup on my face, like on this part of my face, because it's covered by that fabric. Let's get to the makeup. So what I've already done to prep is I've moisturized my face, and I've also applied a primer just to the cheekbone area and the chin area where I feel like the mask will be sitting. So areas that don't need it, I'm not putting it down. I've let that all soak in for several minutes now, probably at least 10 minutes. I have a liquid foundation here, and I'm going to put a couple drops on the back of my hand. And I've got a moistened makeup sponge, and I'll start putting that on. What I plan to do is once all this makeup is on, I want to put a mask on, and I'm not going anywhere today, but I want to put a mask on, and I want to like clean the house for like an hour or something, simulate moving around, being active, wearing, a mask so that I'm breathing and I'm making my own moisture, and maybe I'll move my mouth while I'm cleaning. I mean, I don't know what my face does while I'm cleaning, to be completely honest, but basically wear a mask and do something moderately active to test out and see how well this holds up under a mask. Apply a little bit of concealer where I need a little extra help. Okay, and contrary to what you might think you would want to do, I think I'm going to actually try and keep the layers of makeup a little thinner. The thought might be you want more makeup to allow it to like stand up to having something rubbing on it, but I kind of wonder if it would be more prone to rubbing off if it's thicker. I do feel like when I have real heavy makeup, I don't know if it rubs off easier or if you just see it better when it rubs off, but it just doesn't seem to have as long acting if I put it on real thick, and then it's just not as nice looking when it's real cakey, or at least in person it's not as nice looking. I'm going to take some loose powder. I'm going to powder this, focusing where that mask is going to sit in particular. If you're an oily person, you might want to more heavily powder everywhere. I tend to be dry skinned person. Then whatever's left out on my brush, I might swipe just a little bit everywhere else. And I'm gonna let that sit. I didn't do a real super good job of buffing it in. I want to let that sit and kind of bake, if you will. I don't want to do a real thick, heavy bake, but I want whatever product I just put on there to have a chance to kind of set the makeup down. So I think the real obvious option to do with your makeup, if you have no particular preference of what you're doing with your face, you just want to look nice, would be to do a more do more with the eyes and maybe keep the mouth a little more natural. What I think would be best would be to take like a lip liner that's kind of close to your natural lip color. I don't know if you can see that, but like something close, and use the lip liner to add like your color, make your shape, but then don't put any glosses over it or any creamy lipsticks. Maybe you could reserve that for when you get to your photo shoot location site. Once you take the mask off, put on lip gloss real quick, and then you can take your pictures kind of thing. But it's not going to, your lip stuff is not going to last very long under a mask, I would bet, because it's creamy, it's going to smear. So lip liner or a very matte lipstick. But that's my little spiel on like planning your makeup. If you don't have to do a vibrant lip color that will be really obvious if it gets messed up, maybe don't. But if you really want that, that's what I'm going to try today, because I think that would be the challenge, is having like a vibrant lip color with your mask. Let's do the eyes. Gonna contour. This is a very dark contour, so I have to be like super light-handed with it. At this point, I have everything on except mascara and lip product, and this is the point that I like to put on my setting spray. I'm going to do 2 coats just to be completely thorough. Make sure we're getting the jawline and the nose, because that's where it's going to be sitting. Now I can proceed with mascara, which means I'm going to curl. Revlon Color Burst Matte Balm. I am going to apply the lip color, and I'm going to blot it, and then I'm going to powder it, because I want it to be as matte as possible. I'm going to go with this Revlon Matte Balm. They don't make this anymore, but if you can find some other kind of lip staining crayon, you want something that's going to stain your lips. We have our lip stuff on. I need to get some tissue so I can blot. I got some regular bathroom tissue here, and going to do the classic fold in half, and that's pretty well in place now. I am going to powder this for extra stain hold with translucent powder, which is dulling the color a little bit, but gotta do what you gotta do with what you got. I'm sure there's matte colors that are completely smudge proof you can buy, but I am not buying a special lipstick for this video, sorry. I think I'm gonna do one more spray with this finishing spray, focus more on the lower half of the face. So that is the finished look. I don't know how close I can get to show you what it looks like, but there we go. Hopefully that gives you an idea. So I would say pretty good coverage, not 100% perfect, but pretty good. I do have some pimples from, I guess people are calling it maskne. So I do have a little bit of that going on. I've started a new regimen which seems to be helping things to clear up. And if you want a video on my maskne routine, let me know in the comments down below. Next step, I'm going to put on a mask, and I'm going to go clean for like an hour, and we'll see what this looks like when I come back. Let's stop. So this is the mask that I wore for about an hour now. A little over an hour, almost 2,000 steps. I went up and down stairs, I worked on laundry, I broke apart boxes from shipments that have been needing to be broken down. I talked to my husband, I went outside and watered plants, done quite a number of things in that hour a variety of tasks. So, and I've been wearing this mask. It's a surgical mask with a little bit of wire in here, and I haven't taken it off yet. So let's see what we got under here. All right, that seemed like initially, looks like it held up pretty okay. I've got some marks in my skin where it was sitting, but looks pretty intact. I'll give you guys a close up. You know, compared to usual wear and tear, not too bad. I'll give you a look at the inside of the mask. A little bit of lipstick transfer, just a little bit of foundation transfer on the bottom. I'm not sure if you can see that, but overall not too bad. Yeah, it looks like it held up pretty well. I'm a little dehydrated, so those marks are in my face, and those are going to probably take some minutes to come out. If there was any rubbing off of makeup, which I'm not really noticing any, you could bring like a powder compact with you, like a colored colored powder, not translucent powder. Translucent powder might work too, but like something with a little bit of pigment to it, and you could always touch up a little bit with that powder, which I don't really feel like this makeup needed at all, but you could. And then I had mentioned earlier, if you didn't want the matte lip look, you could bring your lip gloss with you before your photo, or whatever it is that you need to take your mask off for. You know, swipe on real quick, little gloss. It's not going to be able to hold up to the wear and tear of that mask again now that it's got gloss on it, but there you go. A little bit of gloss, you're ready to go for your photo or whatever socially distancingly appropriate activity you are doing. I guess the takeaways from that: use a primer, don't glom on the makeup too thick, and then use a good setting spray, maybe even a few layers. I put on 3 layers, I think, if I remember correctly. And then don't use like a glossy lip gloss or a creamy lipstick, something matte, something dry. I guess the key word is dry, dry, dry. That is the video. I thank you very much for watching. Please give this a thumbs up, share, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I hope to see you at the next video. Bye.